The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat post-game show. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming to Hangover Time. Alf can't make it tonight. Another load management night. This was a close game. A closer game than I think most of us really expected with the Brooklyn Big Three altogether tonight. But this wasn't a bad loss. There were some really amazing moments, including Bam Adebayo, but we're going to get into all that. So let's see who we got on the panel tonight. Here is Alex Musibay. How you doing, Alex?
What's going on, people? How we doing tonight? I know Tyler Hero was inactive, but Drip Drop came ready to play regardless.
Oh, boy. Here he goes already.
Wait, are you Drip Drop now?
I don't know. I just needed to do the shot.
By day, he's Alex Musibay, but by night, he's the Cape Crusader.
That's right. We got down there on the bottom. We got Mr. Franky G. Let's hear it for Franky. Come on. What's up? What are you drinking tonight, Franky?
I have to get my drink from downstairs. I will be drinking a Captain and Coke and some shots of tequila again. If you bastards / lovers keep subscribing, looking at you, Twisted Tapioca.
Moose, I monkey shoulder, I'm assuming.
Oh, all day, every day.
I figured.
Right here.
We got our professional Photoshopper and statistician, Mr. Christian Hernandez.
Man, I am so ready to pray at the altar of Bam, as we all should tonight, because that was some otherworldly shit we saw.
100%. And we're going to get more on that later from this guy. Let's hear it from Mr. Giancarlo Navas on a back-to-back.
Listen, it's nice to be a part of this.
What are you drinking? I mean,
so I'm having.
I'm glad you're happy you're here. What are you drinking tonight, G?
Somebody has to be.
I'm having a gin and tonic with a new gin that I bought today. It's called Gin di Fiori, which is an Italian gin from Tuscany with some Sicilian ingredients, and of course, the goat. Fever Tree tonic water. You need a good tonic water in your gin and tonic, or else what the fuck are you doing?
You're really angling for those sponsorships, guys. So props to you. So, guys, this was an exciting game.
Hold on, Brass. What are you drinking?
Oh, what am I drinking? I have some Elijah Craig bourbon, which is delicious, and I do have some. I didn't get it to it last time, but I do have some Crystal Head vodka shots here. If it comes to that,
very nice.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see how the night takes us. But anyway, guys, this game started off like fucking garbage. It was like 11-2 or something. It was awful. We're like, okay, we've seen this so many times this season. And then I'm pretty sure Bam sort of mixed with like some of the shit that Alf was saying earlier on Twitter a few days ago, that Bam, we know for a fact that he read. And also some of the stuff that Gianni was saying kind of in private to us. I think he must have sort of felt some of that energy. So, and Bam absolutely went crazy tonight with the 41-point performance. I mean, Christian, like, where was this? I mean, this is the Bam can do this.
He's probably doing this all the time in practice. Like, that's probably the infuriating thing, which is why I wish the Heat kind of treated this like they apparently did with Duncan for a while, which they were just constantly screaming at him to shoot the ball. I feel like, it's a joke, but it's the positive reinforcement that also reminds him, hey, you're really good. Like, maybe just instead of immediately being a great teammate, like, I get it, you're a great teammate, just think of yourself a little bit because yourself's kind of great too.
Yeah, I mean, he had that kind of performance. He had one turnover, and I think that was really late in the game too. Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely dominant, and and also the Nets, this is one of those games where all of a sudden their bench guys just cannot miss from three. That was infuriating. We had Harris, like he went completely crazy. Did he got 7 threes? I mean, it was really some of the performances outside of their big three. James Harden. I mean, Moose, You got any James Harden comments from tonight?
I mean, the only thing I'm going to say is watching James Harden play tonight made me so happy that we still had Tyler, because I'm telling you right now, and I mean this, Tyler would have scored at least 30 tonight, especially against James Harden, who just looked out of it up until the end. He was starting to make plays for DeAndre Jordan towards the fourth quarter, but that's because his shot wasn't dropping at all tonight.
Yeah, well, and we have been saying all along, though, that a James Harden trade was going to be good for the Heat, and it was good tonight. Unfortunately, we just fell a little short. But yeah, it was. James Harden. I mean, he was assisting. He was doing other things on the court, but he was not scoring like we have seen him do so in Houston. Franky, I mean, do you have any comments on what you saw tonight? Anything stand out?
Man, it's time to get Bam some fucking help. It's exhausting, like him having to put up the game of his life, and this felt a lot like 09 Wade, where he literally put up a 40 burger, and somebody on Twitter, I think it was Amass92, said peak Wade 49 40 points, and then key missed free throw at the end. But get him some help, man. You had Goran. I think Goran scored 19. Duncan scored 18 a lot late, real late. Nunn scored 18. Nobody else in double figures. It's tough to watch, man. Just somebody, and God, Brooklyn's defense is so much worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's bad. And when they go through some stretches and their shots just aren't falling, it's like, oh, this is what we look like, isn't it? Like we can't, we're just not defending like we should. Yeah, it gets kind of embarrassing. So then we were able to go on some runs there. I mean, we were down. What was our biggest deficit tonight? We were down by 20 a couple times at least.
I feel like that, yeah.
And then it felt like we were down 11 like the entire game. It was just like every time you look at the score, it's like exactly 11. Yeah, it wasn't. It was kind of up and down, and I really thought we were going to have it in the end there. Gianni, do you want to fill people in and on some stuff you were saying earlier about Bam?
Yeah, I do. So Nikias and I have had the same kind of complaints about Bam. It's when they switch a smaller guy onto him, he doesn't do much to take advantage of that. And in the first half, a lot of that Duncan action was really blown up because when they switch whatever man is on Bam onto Duncan, Duncan can't shoot over a bigger guy, especially when that gap closes real fast. And then Bam gets like Joe Harris or someone on him, right? So if you look back at the Raptors game, it was Van Fleet, right? That he just wouldn't do anything. And when Bam gets these smaller guys on him, he doesn't really take it to them. He didn't seem interested in kind of facing up and going to the rim. I know that the Nets had an extra guy in the paint, but you shouldn't be scared of another small guy in the paint, right? Like Durant's out floating in the perimeter because he just got switched. So my thing with him was in the first half when their offense looked like crap, and I know he had a lot of points, but a lot of their bad offensive possessions was a result of the Nets switching, blowing up a play, and then Bam not taking advantage of a mismatch, which at the end of the day, like he still didn't do that. And I'm not here to like shit on Bam's performance. Like, dude fucking balled out. He was hitting every jumper. He looked amazing. But that's a bit of an Achilles heel to him, is that he's not like when Joe Harris is guarding you, you know what I mean? Like you gotta score on him. Like it's just Joe Harris. Like you're an MVP candidate. Like go fucking score on Joe Harris.
Well, and I think we have seen some performances from Bam lately that have been very frustrating because we know how aggressive he can be. We know how good he is, and no ceiling and whatnot, which I firmly believe in.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Twisted Tapioca just gifted 5 tier 1 subs again.
Well, okay, did we shout out Eric the Great because he did earlier?
He did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw one earlier. So for both of you guys, I'm gonna hit you with a drip drop.
I will also.
Yeah, here. Well, yeah. Let me hang on.
I'll have my fake drink. IOUs.
2 excellent supporters of the pod.
Oh no, mine is very real tonight.
Fucking love you
very
guys.
Stiff.
That was a fucking fun basketball game. So I'm glad
that was fun.
Yo. I'm so glad to
see Gianni's trying to pivot. He's trying to pivot. He's trying to
way hard.
Okay, see, no, but like I
does what he does not want us to show is this.
Yeah. Well, I'm stand by that.
Trash it in.
Misspelling and all.
Yeah. And that's how you know it's legit. And sadly, people sometimes think this whole like misspelling thing is a bit.
No.
And I'm sorry to say
No,
it's
very
not. And it's infuriating.
Gianni says this on the first half. He's talking about this as Bam has 21 points
in the half, yeah, and then
In
hit
the
a
half.
buzzer beating three.
It's like he saw it. It's like he saw it.
And
That was
how much-
that was in response to Brian retweeting the no ceiling thing, with the Bam 3 with no ceiling, and I got mad.
What-
Look
was
at that
it-
finger pointing.
I mean, they're down by double digits, and like Bam has not posted up Joe Harris. Like, I don't
But
know.
that wasn't Bam's fault that they're down 20 points.
No, it wasn't. But I
Thank
was
you.
I was mad at him.
Bam posting up Joe Harris does not cover up the deficit.
No, you're right.
Kendrick Nunn being the second leading scorer is why there's a 20-point deficit.
How much of Bam's game tonight can be attributed to him apparently losing his verification on Twitter? What is up with that?
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that?
I did
not.
No.
tweet that out.
I mean, did anyone? I don't know. I don't know if anyone else noticed. I
Oh
went
yeah,
there.
he did.
What's
How
up
did
with
that
that?
even
First I hear of
happen?
that.
Do we think Alf maybe complained when Bam started harassing him?
That's why Alf's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
That's why he's
That
taking
is
2
still,
days
by
off.
the way, that is still Bam's last tweet. Is his response to Alf?
that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's great. He's a fan of the show. That's awesome.
Twitter was like, Jack was like, "There's no way this is the real Bam responding to Alf. Come on."
Another thing tonight, I'm disappointed to say that we now missed out on what was going to clearly be a career game for Mo Harkless. And then he
Yes.
went out, he hit 2 threes, and then all of a sudden he goes out of the second quarter with an injury, and that sucks. Because I need to clarify something. Some of us on here do talk some shit about Mo Harkless. This is true. We will admit that. Some of us more than others. But
No Mo.
but we're not. But when players play, we still want them to do really, really well. So people love telling us to eat shit if he hits like 2 threes. It's like, no, that's a good thing. Like, I don't really. It's just historically the numbers aren't really there. And though he's had 1 to 2 like good defensive performances this season, it is not the
No,
season
it's
to
not
really
1
be
to
playing
2.
him.
It's 2. That's it.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it was one really good one.
Yes.
And
yeah.
then so
Brass, to strengthen your point about like how bad Mo has been. I love that Eric Reed always does this, and every time somebody hits a shot, that's his 51st 3 of the season, whatever. He said Mo hit a shot, and he goes, "That's his 9th point of the season." I was like, "God damn!"
oh my god, wow. I'm sorry, I'm surprised now. He's putting Blake Griffin numbers up tonight. Jesus, man. Yeah, but we're not rooting against these people. It's just
No, but Brass, that's a great point, because I mean, we're even talking about it in the chat. Like, for as much as we rag on Mo, we want him to go out there and prove us wrong and score these points. And also, it would be great because we're dying to finally purchase that Mo Harkless jersey for Tiff. I mean,
So
that's
excited.
gonna be a big moment for us.
1,000%.
buy.
1,000%. We have to get that done eventually. Tiff has missed tonight. We really wanted her to
Absolutely.
be here, but
As soon as he made that
back-to-backs are
second
killing us.
3, I thought of her.
oh, no question. This game was really within grasp at plenty of points, and we shot really pretty terribly from 3 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many missed open threes, and yeah, it's one of those games. But personally, I'm not mad at it. It was really feeling like we were going to lose by 30.
I feel like we should be looking at this game incredibly positively. Look at what Bam is getting to do, especially since Jimmy's out and he's having to carry a bigger load. Like, can you imagine if the Heat had this version of Bam Adebayo in last year's finals? I think that even though he was injured, it still would have been a completely different series. So I think this is all great, honestly. If it wasn't for like all 3 of our like snipers in that starting lineup could not hit a 3 tonight. They were like, what? They had finished like 5 of 20 something from 3, like between Dragic, Robinson, and Olynyk. Like, that's not going to happen that often. So like this is a very good thing. So let's treat it that way and celebrate.
Well, and also 2 buzzer beaters by Bam tonight. That was awesome. And one was a 3. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, Bam was just unbelievable tonight.
The ante, of course.
You know, for as frustrating as these games are for us to watch, and I'm sure for the players to be in as well, this is really great for Bam, because I think had it not been for literally needing him to be this aggressive, he wouldn't have been able to like get used to flipping this switch, which is something that he needs to start to be able to do, because let's face it, for as much as Jimmy is our go-to guy, Bam is the guy that's going to ultimately get us where we need to go. So he needs to use these minutes now where he's carrying the team on his back to get used to it and tap into that, because we're going to need it the rest of the year.
Yeah, no question. Hey, Gianni, so after seeing this game, I assume this is the first game that I'm sure you really, we saw with all 3 of Brooklyn's players that we watched start to finish. What are your thoughts? What are your, now that we've seen it, now that this is the team going forward and they're the big threat in the East to people, what's your take on this Brooklyn Nets team?
I think that they're still figuring out where to be on offense, and I think the surprising thing is Kyrie has been more of an alpha than Harden. And I think that's kind of understandable too, because Harden's kind of walking into the situation. I think that they certainly look beatable. I think the defense is legit a problem. I think that DeAndre, as you saw late in the game, could not stay on the floor. He has to drop really, really low, almost like Brook Lopez, but he's just not as good as Brook Lopez. So they kind of sink him in the paint, and then that's just going to open up the floor. I mean, the Heat are a really limited offensive team, and if it wasn't Bam, it was feast or famine for the Heat, really. And they were able to kind of survive the non-Bam minutes, especially in the third quarter. As kind of as a result of DJ like not being good. So I think there's still a work in progress. It's kind of tough to say. I do think that the Harden, it's a little unfair that Harden gets to be defended by Gabe Vincent. And like, to me, that's like the thing that's going to stand out. Like in a playoff game, like once they really gel and figure out where to be, Harden or Kyrie is going to have a guy that probably has no business guarding them late in the game. And that's where it gets scary.
Actually, Hayden CB3 earlier in the chat was asking, are we just going to ignore the fact that Duncan put the clamps on Harden? Shall we discuss that?
I don't know if he
hell of a possession.
He was guarding Harden for a while in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the plan on Harden is kind of let him take the step back. You kind of play a little bit off of him, because like Harden is a lot of deceleration, right, and kind of funkiness to get your free throws. So if you're gonna give him the step back, and if you're gonna play off him a little bit, as long as they send help, which I think they did a really good job of sending help from the wings to kind of, because once he kind of turns a corner, he's gone. So, that first defender comes, and as long as Duncan stays enough in front of him that the only other option is a step back, I think the Heat take that, and that's – I mean, the one that I was really impressed by was KZ clamped his ass. And by the way, did a great job on Kyrie, did a great job on KD. I legitimately, like, I've been critical of KZ's team defense. Today, there was like – I know Andre balled the fuck out, but if KZ's not playing on Monday – we have a fucking problem. Eric's
yeah, I think we've seen enough from KZ this season to he's not always perfect. Every now and then, he'll have a couple sloppy moves. He'll lose someone or he'll have a stupid turnover. There were a couple of those tonight. But the thing is, like, he just needs more reps. He's got to get on the court more. He has to work that shit out. And going forward after what we were able to see tonight with going against superstars here too, I think there's really no excuse, barring injury, not to have him out there every game. It doesn't make sense.
That block by KZ made me so mad at Eric Spoelstra, because he could do that, and they're running Max Strus out there instead of him. And that's it. To me, that was my tipping point. When he had that incredible block in midair, snatched that shit like prime Dwight Howard, and I'm like, why was Max Strus playing over this guy? I don't understand. He's also been a better shooter than Max, so I don't even.
So we're off of Max now. We're not on the Max.
We were never on Max.
He's also
so much. Go, Frankie. Go.
He's also been a better shooter than Gabe Vincent, which is maddening.
Yes.
Literally, we have these guys and Goran. We have these guys to supposedly be shooters and spacers when KZ has length shooting ability, and he hasn't shown it yet. But in college, he had a floor game where he was a point forward. He can dribble, he can pass, he can make plays. He still looks lost sometimes and unconfident, but when he's decisive, he looks like a legitimate NBA player. It's just where we have to get him reps, like Brass said, to get him comfortable. Because this is what I was saying in the pregame. Bro, if you're losing these games anyways, might as well gain something from it. You gain something from Bam getting reps and getting shots in these possessions, these situations. Do the same shit for KZ. Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are not going to be playoff contributors.
Listen, KZ takes advantage of every single minute that he gets in these games. And those are very, very few minutes. For whatever he's not doing in practice, I don't understand Spo's hesitation to not play him. Frankie, you nailed it on everything. If you're already going to be at a deficit in this game, then get this guy some minutes. The only thing negative you could say about his game, you're saying because he's not getting consistent minutes. Those things change once you know you're not going to get pulled out in the 4th minute of the game.
Yeah, I agree. Christian, what are you laughing about? I gotta know.
Oh, I did not see this right after the game, but did you guys see the hug police come over when Bam was spending a little too much time talking to Kyrie? And then he just comes over. He kind of almost shoos him. He's like, "Oh no, move, let's go."
That's the collusion police.
It was great. They grabbed his ass.
Reasons.
He grabbed his ass and dragged him away.
Brass, can I kind of go back to a point that you kind of made? So I want to put this up for the people, and this is everybody's 3-point percentage this year. And look at where they're getting shooting production from. They're getting it from KZ, Mo Harkless. That's such a fake 50% from 3. But like
tonight, that's very real.
No, but like, look at the guys who are shooting well for this team. They're either not playing or taking an incredibly low volume of threes, or like in Andre's case, is just not guarded. And then the guys that are taking the volume, which are Vincent, Strus, Tyler, Olynyk, Dragic, they're all like sub 33%, right? So they have a bunch of guys shooting 40, but they're really not on volume, or they're not playing, because Bradley's been like one of the best spot-up shooters in the league, and he's just not, right? So their 3-point volume, other than Duncan, is just been in the toilet.
Yep. But you know what those stats, Gianni, what that really points out, and Schmeathan Schmolenik is right on it in the chat. Why is Chris Silva not shooting more threes, Gianni?
That's what I'm saying. He's lethal.
I think that was
he should be shooting threes every time he touches the ball.
Yep.
Listen, Bam and him just got to let it fly. Just Mike Miller this shit.
This was another solid performance by Kendrick Nunn tonight too. It was solid. Listen, considering, Kendrick has been putting really good performances over the last couple of games, and what I'm saying is, like, if this is the low end of what you can get from Kendrick right now, you'd fucking take that.
This is good though, because trades.
Agreed.
This is good.
Today was the day that I'm officially like out on Kendrick Nunn, because even the nights where he's productive,
been out
today
that
you're out on Kendrick Nunn. Where have you been for the last 6 months? Like, there were like 50 days in the last 6 months that you could have been out on Kendrick Nunn.
I'm like always out on Kendrick Nunn, but like,
yes, we know
he brought me back a little bit, because we mentioned this on the pod and on the pregame. We're like, maybe we left him for dead a little early, and today he was a productive statistical player, but other than that left-handed dunk and that 3 off the handoff, his shot selection is up his ass. He's a dog shit decision maker. He doesn't play a lick of defense, and he'll stumble his way into 15 points, but that's not helping the team. And I think that we forget in the NBA, like, someone's gonna get to numbers, right? Like, Gabe Vincent, when he started, got to 20 points. Like, that's just how this works. Like, you're going to get the possessions and you're going to get it. That guy does not make winning plays. And again, the winning plays was that left-hand dunk, which God knows they fucking needed that. And he is athletic and he can dunk and he has quick burst acceleration, and that handoff 3. But his decision-making is 100% up.
But Gianni, we're coming off of just a few games ago calling him unplayable.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a big difference.
I'm out on him as a rotational
no shit.
NBA
like, Bob,
player
you're a broken record, of course. You've been out on him since he got here.
Eric Reed, tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly. G Reed. Yeah, we know you've been out on this. So like, but all I'm saying is like, I'm okay with him hitting rotations at this point, and I didn't think I would really get to that. And I guess I'm basic enough where he can put in a couple good games, and then and then I'm like, he can stay for a while. Frankie, what were you gotta say?
No, I want to attack G's point a little bit.
Go at him.
I get what you're saying, but a lot of those shot selections were the non-Bam and Goran minutes where there is no playmaker and it's Kendrick Nunn having to make a play with nobody else who can dribble, not those fake shooters with space. Somebody's got to take those shots, and he was efficient in those shots. You have to give him credit. I was 100% with you there all season.
You really don't gotta hand it to him.
But gee, if he's not hitting those shots, which he was not hitting those shots all season, so we could literally say he's unplayable. At the time he's actually hitting the shots, you can't say he's not. He's now is when he's fucking unplayable.
As butter sees through me.
I'm sorry, that was just hilarious.
Okay, I guess let's do another drip drop.
You really don't.
Let's do another drip drop.
You know what? This one's for K Nunn. Drip drop.
G said no. Brass, we talked about this amongst ourselves. What does Moose sound like when he does the drip drop? What does he look like to both of us? He looks so out of place.
Yeah, it's a little forced, I guess. Yeah, so
the creation of this.
Moose, I love you.
The create? Oh!
Can we get that on a shirt? Can we make it?
Hey, that is actually dope. Yeah, can I get that shirt? That's pretty spot on, actually.
Frankie commissioned me for that one.
No, I love that. That's hilarious. That's great. I need that.
I'm worried. I hope there's not a correlation between like the drip drop game and like Tyler's injury though. Like I'm a little concerned here. Like it started off like this, like that was drip drop, and now it's this drip drop, and I just don't. I'm a little concerned. I'm not making light of any of his injuries or anything, but I'm just saying that really that's us that are often need to be hooked up to IVs after these shows. After his drip drop thing. I know Frankie loves the drip drop. But
I mean, who doesn't? America loves the drip drop. All right.
I'm very anti drip drop.
You know what?
I like Tyler Hero.
Drip drop.
Oh God. No, I'll drink this.
That's Moose though. It sounds like Moose is trying to be 10 years younger.
Yeah. Hey, kids. Yeah. I did love that. That's hilarious.
We're gonna go to questions in a couple minutes, so please. Put them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Because honestly, I don't know how much more there really is to discuss of this game. This is another one of those million games of this already short season so far that doesn't mean a ton. But
the fact that Bam had 41 and this wasn't a blowout, like I agree with you that it doesn't mean a lot, but it's not that we're coming out of this, in my eyes, in a negative. Like these are positive steps for Bam. K Nunn for maybe not Gianni, but at least he's getting that trade stock back up. KZ with a few minutes in there. So, there are good things that came out of tonight.
Yeah, I agree. This is not one of those games. Yeah, this is one of those good losses, sort of like that first Philly loss where it's like, well, shit, we should have gotten our ass kicked.
I'm drinking a Larry.
We didn't. Oh, there you go. So not to Kendrick Nunn, no.
I'm on Dragon Tales, Larry.
Dragon Tales, it's DuckTales.
Whatever.
God, he botched that landing.
He can't even spell what he speaks.
Damn it. Typoed whole title of a show. Garbage, Gianni.
Yeah,
cock that up. He was so excited to drop it, too.
Oh, my God.
You had that on deck, too.
He dumped that down.
I'm cruising off the handoff. I just caught. I went to fire.
You really don't have to hand it to Gianni.
Definitely not. Definitely. That was god awful, man.
Oh
Jesus
my God.
Okay. Well, here's a question. KC 3925. Is this Bam ceiling anywhere? But I'm not going to read all this. You can read this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's well. Listen. I'm going to throw this to Christian. Christian's a fucking numbers guy.
Personally, I lean towards the higher end on all of those sets of numbers because I think that's what he's giving us here.
But we need to
I
hear the
am an
actual number. We need to hear the
optimist
actual number.
All right, fine. 23, 11.2, 6.3, 1.4, 1.8. No, but you know what? 60% from the field. He's shooting like 65% right now, 69%.
Nice.
Guys, if he gets those, that is legitimate funny because that is how Heat fans treat Bam. That he has to shoot like that and play like that. If Bam hits those numbers, he's the greatest player of all time. Not a top 7 player in the league. He's the greatest player of all time.
Bam's shooting 60% from the field this year.
50% from 3, right?
He is shooting. Yep. No, it just says 0%. I guess it's not, it doesn't count because he's only taken 2 attempts.
You know what I did think tonight for the first time, though? Tonight I thought for the first time that he might be better than Dwayne eventually.
Wow.
Yeah,
Tonight was the first time.
I don't.
Because he's got to do those kinds of things to ever get to that point. And the fact that he can even scratch the surface, like no ceiling, right? Isn't that what we keep saying, like idiots?
Yeah, but Dwayne had that aggressiveness from day one. And you're going to need that aggressiveness consistently if you want to hit that legendary Hall of Fame status that Dwayne is at. And
I gotta be honest. Bam didn't score the ball until those free throws for like the last 2 minutes, and that's part of his limitation. I don't think Dwayne goes 2 minutes without scoring in a tight game like that against a team like that. This is not to shit on Bam. I love Bam. Bam's gonna be a top 4-5 Heat player all time. He's gonna be, man. I mean, Dwayne's one of the 15 or 20 greatest basketball players who ever lived. Like,
no question.
Like not even like top 3 shooting guards. Like the motherfucker like is legend of legends. Like his name will echo in the eternities. Like this story of basketball in the last era cannot be told without Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's see how we feel in 15 years.
Right.
15 games.
Is anyone else like in my boat here where like when I saw him hit that 3, I'm like, okay, now he's unlocked. Now
wait a second. Hold on.
Let's get it going.
Hold on. Why are people mad at me?
Because we're already suffering enough from all these losses and this fucking season. You're bringing the negativity, bro. We're just trying to have a good time.
And you said
we're
just trying to get lit right now.
Well, also, you said Dragon Tales.
Yeah,
man. That was honestly, you deserve 5 minutes in the penalty box. He really should have been in the penalty box.
Thank you. Yeah, get the fuck.
The penalty box did not last long enough for that one. Dragon.
Yeah, no. That was a major. Like that was clipping or whatever they do in hockey. Like that was a 5-minute major. Absolutely.
That was awful. It also clip that Dragon Tales thing.
God.
Yeah, seriously, please never let him forget about Dragon
But
Tales.
yeah, I mean, do you think Moose, do you think Bam at any point in the next, say this season, he's going to start hitting more threes? Do you think that's going to be something of his game that's going to be unlocked?
This season, no. And the only reason I'll say that is because we've already been seeing so much hesitation for him to shoot just the 17-foot jumper. I don't know how consistently he'll be stepping farther back and shooting it. Would I like to see him? Yes. I love that bit that he had going with Jimmy Butler, where Jimmy was giving him like $100 for every 3-point shot. Jimmy should keep doing that because we at least want the defense to think that he's going to be taking those shots from 3 to just, open things up for us more. Eventually, that's going to be a part of his game that he is going to have to incorporate. For this season, that may be asking a lot.
This is a good question. KZ3925 says, if Tyler becomes a top 15 to 20 player and Bam is top 5 to 10, does that make them a future duo that competes for championships every year? I mean, that sort of glosses over that Tyler making the leap to be a top 15 to 20 player.
That's extreme.
I mean, yes,
that's a lot.
if he's a top 15 to 20 player, yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Christian, what do you think?
If Moose is
I don't know. I just feel like we're living in an age where it's like you either need to have 2 top 10 players or 3 like top 30 players. So it really depends who that third guy would be. Like, Exactly. Like, I mean, you don't think that more super teams are going to form in the future? Like, yeah, the contenders in the sense that maybe they'll be competing for the conference championship, maybe, but you need to have like stars these days because these guys have too much power, and more power to them, honestly. But it's very clear what's going to keep happening. They're going to keep coming together because a lot of these guys are going to spend 7, 8, 9 years with the team that drafted them, putting up killer stats, but not winning shit. And at the end of the day, that's what matters to your legacy. So they know they have the power, especially once they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, to influence where they can be, and they're going to do that.
Have we heard any talk of which players are likely to come back on Monday to face this team? Because the one real interesting aspect of this season that I feel doesn't get discussed enough is that you end up playing back-to-back games with the same teams in the same spot. So there can be a lot of adjustments, and you're kind of stuck with the same roster often in back-to-back games. So a team can make these sweeping adjustments. Do we expect the next game to look similar to this? Like, I mean, Bam hitting, getting 41 points might not happen again. But I also feel like players like Duncan Robinson are going to shoot a little better. I feel there's going to be a little more normalization there. But Franky, what do you look to see the next game? Do you think it's going to be a similar kind of matchup?
I want to see progress defensively, first of all. See if they can. I mean, and honestly, there was a lot of possessions where they didn't even look that bad defensively. I feel like the zone was a nice little change of pace against them. And I mean, Brooklyn figured it out, and they started being super aggressive when the Heat ran tired legs at the end. But there were things I liked, and obviously a fucking shit ton of stuff I didn't like. I want to see better on-ball presence, better focus, closing defensive gaps, one pass away, in zone and in man. We did a terrible job decision making. Like, you can't leave Joe Harris open ever. Just don't leave him open. I would rather James Harden shoot than Joe Harris, which is crazy to say.
7 of 12 tonight, and that was because he got off to like 4 or 5 in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I also want to answer something in the chat. Row 1119 said y'all had so much faith in Justice Better and Night and Whitey Hero. It's not that we don't have more faith in Tyler, but there's a big difference in us believing Justice could be a two-way rotation player and Tyler being a top 15 to 20. That's a huge difference. Okay, we're not saying we don't think Tyler's better than Justice. We just don't think he's a top 15 to 20 potential guy. We think he's a really good player and a starter, but I don't think that's a ceiling.
I will say though that I do think he is going to be better than Justice.
On this,
he is.
I do.
I mean, if he just stays healthy, of course he will be. Like, he's broke.
Just wanted to clarify that though.
Christian,
I mean, I want to add to it, but Gianni, go.
We never said that he was going to be an all-star. What we always said was
he could be a really good contributor on a contender.
Iguodala. We were like,
exactly.
Right. Denver Iguodala.
Yeah,
I think also you have to look at the makeup of the team is so different right now than what it was when Justice was playing, because Justice was there for Wade's, for the playoff run, and then Wade left, and so what we were left with there, we're left with Hassan, we're left with these pieces that no one expected that team to really do much of anything. So we're like, okay, let's grow this out, let's build this up. And he has, he had a lot of potential, and he was an excellent defender, and a really good system player. And he started developing a decent 3-point shot too, and especially when it was really the finishing was really the worst thing about Justice, and Justice never really cleared that.
In retrospect, we can laugh about it.
Absolutely,
right?
we can.
Some
laugh
of those bricks were hilariously bad.
It was really, really bad. But let's not forget Point Justice. When he started going off there, he was really good, and then he just he gets injured, man, and that sucks. Some players are just like that, but. Tyler, we're looking at Jimmy, we're looking at Jimmy's age, and we're looking at Pat and his age, and we're like, they had the pieces. They made it to the finals last year, call it the Mickey Mouse Finals, whatever the fuck excuses the national
That's
crowd
such
when they get to
garbage.
it. It is such
Anybody
garbage.
who says that, like,
It's total garbage. I'm making fun of them by saying that, but we were just there, so if you could, and Tyler has a lot of promise. He is the type of guy that you could package and you could get a bigger name for right now. But Justise, that wasn't what the team was, and I think it was a slower build. This is not a slow build team at this point. This is if you can get a big player, you got to strike while the iron's hot, because the rest of the league is there, and they're going to beat you year to year at this point if you don't make some big moves. So that's my take on that. I don't know if anyone, yeah.
Good take, Brass.
No,
yeah.
Wait, my point is Justise better. Well, Frankie, what?
No, I agree with you. It's something about you mentioned Jimmy and Pat, but it's also Goran. Like, you want to strike now, and while their momentum is hot right now, obviously not this season currently, but when they were full strength, you saw what they could do full strength. Even at the end of last season, when they were struggling before the shutdown, Tyler was missing a bunch of games. Nunn started struggling. Myers missed a bunch of games. They weren't full strength. They definitely improved upon
Tyler
No, he played the last couple games, but he was coming back from it, like a 2 or 3 weeks like spell. But it wasn't like he didn't look 100%. But thanks for throwing me off, Gianni, for that correction.
But Myers fucking matters to their operation.
Myers was a starter back then. He was good. He was a good contributor. They had one of the best starting lineups in the league.
Whatever. It's Myers Leonard. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, you know what? I've been playing a lot of 2K lately, and I'm with Gianni now, man. Myers Leonard is so infuriating. He's so goddamn slow. Just come set a pick already. All right, sorry.
Oh, he just heard you. Oh shit! Come on, man. Don't upset him like that.
When your teammate doesn't have your back in Apex.
I
don't even play Apex.
But yeah, no, Myers with that contract, that's just something.
God,
that's on my list this year. Like, I just want him to go, and like, he's whatever. He's a nice guy, whatever. But I just at that amount of money,
let him stand somewhere else.
Unless you're planning on trading him, unless you have a real plan for that, it just doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, Solomon Hill out there is still lifting this team's spirits through Twitter. This man is a Heat lifer, and I am
and a KZ stan.
Disgusted, and a KZ stan.
It felt like tampering.
It does. It feels like tampering, right? It's like, okay, we get it. You want to be back, Solomon. I totally get it. Like,
did you guys see what he tweeted, Trilly?
Yeah.
Oh, the hug.
Yeah, the how come you don't want me?
Yeah.
He tweeted that about him not coming back. That was great.
Justise, Dwayne, and Solomon were live tweeting this game with us, and it all felt like we were saying the same things. It really made me feel connected to athletes in a way that I never have before.
Absolutely.
I mean, Solomon Hill clamoring for KZ minutes. It felt like he was one of us.
That was so corny, G.
Oh shit, guys. We got a big update from our guy Brady Hawk over at 5 Reasons Sports.
Uh-oh.
Bam Adebayo says, "From now on, I need to be ultra aggressive from the start." Ooh. I love
this.
But see, you need games like this for him to get in that mindset.
That's what I'm saying, and I feel like this is a win, even though it's not a moral win or whatever.
Moral victory?
Moral victory, whatever. Like, it's a win in the long-term future of this franchise because Bam needs to know that he can do that, and he showed it.
100%. 100%.
And especially that he did it against the Nets. He's doing that
against 3 Hall of Famers, mind you. None of them want to play defense, and 2 of them don't want to play defense. One of them tore an Achilles, but whatever. Details like Hall of Famers
matters. That stuff matters, and players get up for games like this. So for Bam, yes, that absolutely means more.
But I mean, I'm just watching them play this tonight, though, and being so competitive in the second half it's a really good damn thing they did that, because coming off the Raptors loss, where they tied it and then still ended up losing by like 20. I don't think we could take another one of those. But it's exciting because we're looking at probably being semi full strength in like maybe a week's time. We're sort of guessing, right? I mean,
do we have any kind of timeline on this?
So
no, but Jimmy's been out since what was it? The Boston postponement? Was that like?
So Jimmy, Avery, and Tyler did not make the trip to Brooklyn. So at least Tyler for sure isn't going to be back on Monday. And I mean, Jimmy's been out. I think it's 17 days already. NBA TV, by the way, cited Avery Bradley having COVID. And I know that the Heat media locally kind of mentioned, right before the bubble or during the bubble, that they weren't going to really report on who had a positive test or not. They didn't feel it was ethical. So I don't know if we're going to know that from the local media, and the Heat are for sure not going to tell us. So NBA TV said Avery had COVID. Jimmy's been out 17 days. You could do the math. And then it just depends. I mean, I don't know how many people have had friends have COVID, but I've had friends be out 3 weeks. And once the 3 weeks is up, their fever breaks or whatever, they're still not 100%. So
it's tricky because there was no warning that we had that the Heat could have been in this situation where they could have gotten it. It's not like, they're playing, I don't know, the Washington Wizards and we're like, hey, what the fuck? Why are we doing this? Can we not play this game because we saw all the dominoes fall there? It's infuriating. And my question is, if COVID sniffing dogs were such a wonderful thing, how come they don't have them all over these arenas and be sniffing out players? But yet they can sniff out people in the crowd. I don't know.
Makes you think. Do you know that you can be over COVID, but you can register a positive test for up to 2 weeks after you had it?
Well, yeah, because you're only contagious for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, but then that gets tricky because you could still re-get the virus and be contagious. So how are they gonna? They for sure. I mean, if these guys have a positive test, I'm sure that this is something written in a CBA amendment or some shit that they cannot play if they register. So until if any of these guys have COVID, until they register negative tests, which could be a week or two even after they're healthy, that just fucks the season so bad. Has Jason Tatum played again? I think he has, right? Or he's been practicing.
I don't think he's played since.
He hasn't played, and he's been out for a long time. He's been out since about when Jimmy's been out. Maybe a little bit before. No, right? Yeah, about the same time.
Did he play the Boston Miami game?
He played the Boston Miami game.
The last one.
He's been out since. Yeah. So because then he went to Washington. So this is just. I'm sure that a lot of teams are going to have to go through this, and you just hope that these guys listen. It's that fucking virus.
Did it go Washington? Did he play Washington and then they played Boston after that?
It was Boston then Washington. I believe it was a Wednesday, Friday, Boston, Washington.
Oh, but Boston played.
But Boston had just played Washington. Exactly.
I said Boston. Yeah. Boston had just played Washington.
Washington.
Dragon Tales.
Wow.
I still can't believe you.
Dragon Tales. Can you believe that, Frankie?
That's fucking man. Dragon Tales.
Can I bring something up from the game that I thought?
Sure. Okay.
No, you can't.
Okay,
you can't. No, go. What is it?
The Heat are closing with Bam at the 5 again with the wing. So now today it was Bam plus Andre, Duncan, Nunn, and Dragic, right? And they haven't really played two bigs really down the stretch much. They start with two bigs and they really kind of move away from that. They played a lot of Precious alone at the 5. They played a lot of Bam alone at the 5, which I think is good because those are their best, most competent lineups. So the fact that they're like, okay, Bam at center gives us our best chance to win. I really like that. They've just decided Andre Iguodala is going to be our backup 4, and it's worked. I mean, he's been terrific, and he's been able to guard up, and he's been able to play really well. And I think that's I think if you're going to take anything from this game or these stretches of bad games, once you get Jimmy back, you're going to have two guys that you can play at the small ball 4 with Bam at the 5 with a bunch of shooters, and you're actually going to get some offense moving.
That's great. I'm really glad that we spent so much time on that. Yeah. Let me hit you one more time with a drip drop.
I love that edit, Brass. Give me that on 3 T-shirts.
Thank you. You're my muse, Frankie. Anyway, while we're wrapping this up, Gianni has been in our private chat here telling us constantly, plug the pod. Miami Heat beat. I mean, if check us out on Apple Podcasts or any of those. Yes, I know, G.
Any of
Why
those.
don't you plug
any
the
of
fucking
those.
pod? You're here. You can do it yourself.
Can I?
Yeah.
Dream beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
whatever.
check out Streambeat.
If y'all are not
IG,
listening
YouTube, Twitter.
to the Heat Beat
Hang on,
podcast,
and obviously Hangover Time you can watch on Twitch. We post it to YouTube afterwards, so you can check it on there. It's also in podcast form. But yeah, Heat Beat.
no, but
it's cool.
legit, please listen to the pod. I think I think that we have probably the best X's and O's analysis in the market right now, and that includes any paper, any other podcast. So other people do a lot of things better than us, but I think in terms of kind of analysis of the game and jokes, we got you covered. When it's X's and O's and jokes, we're there. We're leading the market in X's and O's and jokes. And legitimately, a subscription on iTunes or Spotify goes a long way. We want to make this as full-time as we can. And I know that Brian and I are trying our fucking hardest to we want this to be our job. We love this thing. We've been doing this for 8 years, and we really want to take it to the next level. So if y'all can hit a sub on the pod, hit a subscribe on YouTube, hit a follow on Twitch. If you could be so kind as to give us a sub on Twitch, that stuff goes a long way, because the more that you support us, the more that we have wiggle room to give you better and better and more content. We're streaming every day. This week we streamed every single day because we're potting tomorrow. So we went a full week, Sunday to Sunday, every single day. Here on Twitch, we had a Miami Heat Beat stream, whether it was Hangover Time, whether it was the pregame show or the MHB pod or LSO Sports. We've been giving you that content, sometimes multiple times a day. So any way you can support us, please. We want to make sure that everyone gets paid, and everybody here has worked incredibly hard. So any way that you can support us, if you like what we do, please help us. Shout out to people like Tapioca and Eric the Great and Schmeeth and Smolnik for being here, holding it down in chat, for gifting subs. That shit, that makes us go. That's the kind of stuff that we need. So please and shoot us a review on iTunes. We need those.
Though all of that is true, I'm sorry, everyone. That was my fault for letting Gianni plug the pod. That was
quite a plug. That was a long plug. I was gonna tell that question from before. I also fat shamed Alf today, but it's okay because I'm also fat.
I fat shamed Alf too. We all fat shamed each other today. We were all quite mean to each other.
Oh, we didn't have to do it again, but
he's not even here to defend himself. Poor guy.
We lead the league in fat.
We do.
Listen, we talk shit, and we know our shit.
It's true. So, and also there are a lot of people wondering, man, you really picked a hell of a season to do a post game stream, with this team looking as shitty as it does. And to that I say, did we, or is it the best time to just drink your brains out and talk shit? Because I think it's the best time to start a pod.
Is somebody watching a Phoenix Suns game while also participating in our chat? What is going on here right now?
I think it's in overtime. It's Denver, Phoenix. They're in overtime.
Yeah, and Jokic is going crazy.
Not like Bam though.